Okay, good afternoon everyone, especially good afternoon to you class 9 Oak, because with you last week also the same thing happened. I was not able to take your class. I waited long time, but finally nothing happened. Okay, so just take out your book, and today we will be starting with packing, chapter number 7, packing, page number 82. So this packing, the story of packing, it is exactly not a story. It is a kind of article. It is a kind of article written by Jerome K. Jerome for his travelogue. So what is this travelogue? Travelogue is a kind of very big size essay. It's a very big size essay. It's so big that it becomes a book. So travelogue is actually dealing with a person's journey. When a person is traveling somewhere or making journey, many people, they have the passion to write down a journal related to that particular travel. So here Jerome K. Jerome used to write different type of journals which are known as travelogues. So one of his famous travelogues which got very popular, the name of that famous travelogue is Three Men in a Boat. So this famous journal is this famous travelogue is like in taste it's kind of humorous. Now what is this humorous? Once you read this travelogue, you will also feel the humor, because he is mentioning very serious things in such a comic manner that you feel laughter naturally. The laughter comes out of you naturally, and you can relate to these things with your daily things. Okay, the same thing happens. So you can feel the laughter. That's the purest form of humor that he is able to create. So we are going to read one extract, a very small portion of Three Men in a Boat named journal. Okay, named travelogue. So the very first chapter we are going to read, and this story I am giving you the introduction about what was going on, what kind of journey and all. So these three friends, Jerome K. Jerome, his friend Harris and his friend George, these three, they planned for a boating trip. They wanted to travel for 3 days in a boat across the river Thames in London. So before they go on for the travel, before they set on to the journey, they were preparing, they were packaging things, they were packing things. So this entire episode is about that packing. Let us start. I said I would pack. I rather pride myself on my packing. Packing is one of those many things that I feel I know more about than any other person living. It surprises me myself sometimes how many such things there are. I impressed the fact upon George and Harris and told them that they had better leave the whole matter entirely to me. They fell into the suggestion with a readiness that had something uncanny about it. George spread himself over the easy chair, and Harris cocked his legs on the table. Now he is telling that I just said that I will pack. I will do the packing. And immediately after telling that, he is trying to appreciate himself, that actually why I am telling I will pack, because he is taking a lot of pride about his packing. He is very confident about his packing skill. He is such an expert packer. Okay, he is boasting himself that I am such a good packer. I am good in many things, and I am good in so many things that even surprises me even more. Like I am so talented. Okay, so he was like boasting about himself little bit. Then he coming to the present scenario, and he is telling, but unfortunately he just said that I will pack, means he didn't actually mean that he will do the packing. He actually tried to mean that I will tell you how to pack. But before he could elaborate it in a extended manner, his two friends understood, oh, he is trying to do the packing. Okay, fine, you please proceed. And two of them who were trying to pack, they immediately shifted into different position and they started resting. They started like completely becoming inactive. Okay, one started sitting on the easy chair, and another one put his legs on the table and he started waiting for the narrator to do the packing. This was hardly what I intended. So this was exactly not the narrator here tried to mean. What I meant, of course, was that I should boss the job. He wanted to boss the job, he wanted to supervise, because he is an excellent packer, so he want to direct them. I should boss the job, and that Harris and George should potter about under my direction. I pushing them aside every now and then with, oh, you here, let me do this, there you are, simple enough. Really teaching them, as you know, might say, taking it in the way they did irritated me. There is nothing does irritate me more than seeing other people sitting about doing nothing when I am working. So he just wanted to supervise. He wanted to say that you don't put it there, you put it there, you put it inside, you put it above it. He just wanted to direct them. But they could not understood what he actually intended to do, and instead they were in a complete idle position. They gone into idle mode, and this irritates the narrator even more, because he really can't tolerate someone who will sit idle while another person is working in front of him. He can't tolerate that. I lived with a man once who used to make me mad that way. He would loll on the sofa and watch me doing things by the hour together. He said it did him real good to look on at me messing about. Now I'm not like that. I can't sit still and see another man slaving and working. I want to get up and superintend and walk around with my hands in my pocket and tell him what to do. It is my energetic nature, I can't help it. So he's telling that like few months before, like some time back, I used to live with a person, like he used to have a roommate, and the roommate was another lazy creature. He used to keep on lolling all over, okay, all over the sofa. Lolling means lazily, idly sitting and rolling over. So he used to do that, and I want to get up and superintend and walk around with my hands. So he won't do a single thing. He will just watch me work. He will just watch me work the entire day, and he will just keep sitting idle, and that irritated him. And what is his nature? He is comparing himself with such lazy people. He is telling that I am such a person, I really can't tolerate someone working in front of me and I am sitting idle. I will always do something. I will show my energy, I will show my enthusiasm, I will put my hands in my pocket and I will roam here and there, and I will tell him, yeah, you do this, you are doing this incorrectly, you are doing like this, why you are keeping like this. I will tell, automatically it will come out instead of sitting idly. He's trying to mean that. So see the humor here. You will feel like what kind of person he is exactly. However, I did not say anything but started the packing. So many things was going on, many things were going on in his mind, but he did not bother to say anything, comment anything. He just started with his work. He started packing. It seemed a longer job than I thought it was going to be, but I got the bag finished at last, and I sat on it and strapped it. So finally he did the packing, but it took him kind of extra long time than he expected. So he started finishing off the job. He started strapping the bag. Now what is this strapping the bag? Strapping the bag means you are like putting the belts and like locking the belts. Okay, at that time the chain system was not there, so he was like locking the belts. That is mean by strapping the bags. So after completing all those things, what happened? Aren't you going to put that boots in? Said Harris. Suddenly Harris commented. After he has completed the packing, Harris commented, are you not going to put that boots in? Means he forgot to put a pair of boots inside the bag. And I looked around and I found I had forgotten them. That's just like Harris. He couldn't have said a word until I would got the bag shut and strapped, of course. And George laughed. One of those irritating, senseless laughs of his. They do make me go so wild. So these two friends, they were so irritating for this Jerome. Okay, this Harris, he said about the boat when he has completed the work, when he has done the packing, when he has strapped the bag, at that time he is telling that you have not packed the boots. Can't he say that little bit earlier? Means I have to again open the straps, I have to keep the boots in. Okay. And watching his condition, watching his miserable condition, he is growing angry. George started laughing, irritating laughter of his. That irritates him even more. He started laughing at his condition. Okay, fine. I opened the bag and packed the boots in. And then, just as I was going to close it, a horrible idea occurred to me. Had I packed my toothbrush? I don't know how it is, but I never do know whether I have packed my toothbrush. So, then what happened? So, he opened the bag, he packed the boots, he again closed the bag, but while he was about to close the bag this time, a horrible idea occurred to him. Now, what is this horrible idea? The horrible idea was about his toothbrush. Did he pack his toothbrush? And if he had packed the toothbrush, where he kept it, in which portion of the bag he has kept it, he started thinking about that. Where exactly? Because he is not able to remember whether he has packed the toothbrush or not. Okay. Now, this toothbrush is haunting him a lot. My toothbrush is a thing that haunts me when I am traveling and makes my life a misery. I dream that I haven't packed it and wake up in the cold perspiration and get out of bed and hunt for it. And in the morning, I pack it before I have used it and have to unpack again to get it. And it is always the last thing I turn out of the bag, and then I repack and forget it and have to rush upstairs for it at the last moment and carry it to the railway station wrapped up in my pocket handkerchief. So he is having this habit with the toothbrush every time. So whenever he has to go somewhere, he will obviously all the time he will forget to pack his toothbrush. And getting worried about his toothbrush, he won't be able to sleep peacefully. He will suddenly wake up from his dream, because he will be having a dream like a nightmare that I have forgotten my brush. So he will wake up from his dream and he will be sweating, how can I forget my toothbrush? Okay, it's a toothbrush mania. So he will start searching for his toothbrush and then he will pack the toothbrush in the bag. Morning, obviously morning, he will again need the toothbrush because he had to do the brush. So for that he has to again take out the toothbrush and he will do the brushing thing, and then as obvious he will again forget to put it back in the bag. And then later on, when they will finally move out and they were about to reach the station, suddenly he will remember about the toothbrush. My toothbrush, I have forgotten my toothbrush. So he will again run back to the home, somehow pack the toothbrush, means take the toothbrush, wrap it in his handkerchief, keeping it in the pocket, he will reach the station. So this is his regular habit. Every time he will do like that. So again that horrible idea occurred to him, whether he has packed the toothbrush this time or not. He started thinking. Of course I had to turn every mortal thing out now, and of course I could not find it. I rummaged the thing up into much the same state that they must have been before the world was created and and when chaos reigned. Of course, I found George's and Harry's 18 times over, but I couldn't find mine own. I put the things back one by one and held everything up and shook it. Then I found it inside a boot. I repacked once more. So now in order to find the toothbrush, he know what he have to do. He have to unpack the entire thing out of the bag. And when the entire thing will be out of the bag, he will be searching for the toothbrush. And how the room will look at that time? The room will look exactly like when the world was first created, when everything was messed up, nothing was clear, nothing was organized, everything was very messy. In like that my room will look at that time. And then he will be searching for his toothbrush and he won't be getting the toothbrush. Several times he will be getting Harry's toothbrush and George's toothbrush, but his own toothbrush he won't be getting. But finally, at last, he managed to get his toothbrush, and where his toothbrush was inside the boot. That is why he was not able to find. So again he had to repack. He will again put back everything one by one as he had done before, means again the same work doubled. So he will repack the entire thing once again. When I finished, George asked if the soap was in. I said I didn't care a hand whether the soap was in or whether it wasn't, and I slammed the bag shut and strapped it and found that I had packed my spectacles in it and had to reopen it. It got shut finally at 10:05 p.m. and then there remained the hampers to do. Harris said that we should be wanting to start in less than 12 hours time, and thought that he and George had to better do the rest. I agreed and sat down, and they had a go. So now after finishing this one, he again packed up everything, he strapped up everything. Suddenly he is remembering that he has forgotten his spectacles inside the bag, and obviously without the spectacles it will be problem for him. So once again he has to strap out the bag. Once again he has to open the bag, he has to take out the spectacle, find the spectacle first and take it out, and finally all the work will be done, and the time will be 10:05 p.m. means like at night 10 o'clock. And at that time this Harris and George, they will be telling that you have done enough, now leave the other part of the packing works to me. Now what was left? The packing of the hamper. Now what is this hamper? Hamper means a basket where you have to pack the food, the plates, the eating items that you have to pack there. So they are voluntarily coming and telling that you have done enough, now you leave the rest to us, because we have 12 hours at hand, we have to go tomorrow morning, we have to go, so we need a proper rest. If you continue like this, then the entire night will be gone and nothing will happen. So they took the charge of packing the hamper, and in this way they started. So this class I am ending here. Next class I will try to join you in the Skype, or if it is possible for me, I will record another video for you. Okay, bye bye then.